We're going to watch the KOURI Richins case live. Is she a murderer? And will the police done a better job than they seem to be doing in the Nancy Guthrie case?
Boy, gummies and oxycodone, bad combination. But is it the reason that Eric Richins is dead?
Justice, where are you? Michael and Linda are here.
Love you, Linda.
Where is justice? Will we ever find justice?
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing
Will
"Oh
we
Happy
know
Day."
Justice when we see it. To be and down, may I lead the way. Hoping justice will win the day. Listener clues, finding justice where we can. Join us now, we're on the run. Justice is waiting, we'll see it done.
All righty then. Day 2 of the KOURI Richins trial. We're going to dip into that and play a little trial roulette after we handle a few other items. Everything good? Everything under control?
Everything is under control. A little late getting here because my assets went missing because
I hate to lose my assets.
But now I've gotten some of them back. But thank you for putting up with me, Michael Bryant, because when you have 2 people in a household who deal with high-profile case, you can tend to get grabby about the printers. Okay.
So you have you got to get another printer. You need.
I need to take my assets back.
Yeah, don't lose your assets. Okay. Okay, I just have one little thing here real quick. Like, did you know, this is actually outrageous in my opinion, the Postal Service cannot be sued even if they intentionally withhold your mail. Can you believe that? The Supreme Court just ruled.
My dad was a postmaster for so many years. The Supreme Court just ruled?
The Supreme Court has just ruled. That doesn't get all the, the attention like the tariffs, but the Supreme Court just ruled. There was a case out of Texas where a woman had a couple of apartment buildings or properties of some sort. She was African American, and that's only important because she claims it was racially based, this withholding of her mail. Even the local postmaster ordered the people there at their local post office to deliver the mail, and they refused. Some of it they sent, return address unknown and return to sender. Because this woman, they say, was defrauding. The fact she did or didn't own real estate, it's a little murky there. But the fact is, the court said, and this was written by Clarence Thomas, he said, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, even under the tort claims situation, because remember, it's a government entity of sorts. It's a private entity, but it's under the auspices of the government. Anyway, you can't sue them, even if what they do is intentional. So
sounds like the President of the United States. Sounds like they become the President of the United States.
That is some protection.
Absolute immunity. That's pretty bad. Imagine if they're looking in your mail illegally and you can't sue them. They're opening your mail without a search warrant.
Well, I don't know. Well, that'll have to be tested. This has to do with the delivery of mail only. And if they withhold it intentionally, doesn't matter. They're still protected.
There you go. Okay, so let's talk about just a quick case out of New Jersey that interested me while we wait, because we know we have everybody. I have to add it to the stage if I can. Here we go. I almost forgot how to do this. This is an interesting case out of New Jersey. You don't really need to look at it in terms of reading it.
It's hurting my eyes.
Yeah, it's State versus Walter Giuliano. And the reason why it's important is just the New Jersey Supreme Court just issued it. And why it became important is because remember the Maria Montalvo case where the governor granted her clemency. She had killed literally 2 kids on file. We had Tomas Montalvo on, right? Just outrageous. Well, he granted felons the right to vote, which I don't have a problem with. Okay, if there's a certain period of time, and you're not dealing with a murder. I think that there's a whole group of disenfranchised people over drugs, especially now, that should be allowed to vote. But what happened here is the governor granted clemency, and 2 days later, jury selection was going to occur in another murder case, right? And what happened is 9 of the about 800 persons, 801 prospective jurors were felons, and so they were immediately mushed out. And the defense moved to have the whole panel stricken because it now was no longer representative of the community, because the community should include felons. Just like at one point, remember, the prosecutors would strike Black people. And you can't do that. Well, the court ruled that, look, the jury commissions are going to have to comply with this, but yeah, you have to give them time, because this was only 2 days. And in this process, they didn't find that felons were a protected class like women were once, like minorities are. They're not in the area of a protected class. So therefore, it didn't violate the federal or state constitution. And therefore, it, the picking of a jury, because this was an emergent application, by the way, with this jury panel would go on. But in the future, I think there's notice that, you have to comply with this. And if jury commissions don't start including felons, or if prosecutors starting nixing felons off, they may be subject to a Batson challenge. So I think it's a really interesting case.
Interesting.
New Jersey is in the forefront of many leading opinions.
For those who may not know, if you have a felony conviction, you can't vote, you can't own a firearm. I think if it's applied broadly, there's a problem, because if I'm committed a felony and I'm convicted and it's fraud based, I don't think I should ever get to vote again, because it's fraud based dishonesty. I don't want somebody like that making decisions on who's in office, who's not.
Yeah, well,
just
the problem
my
is you know that most of our convictions these days are drug convictions, and you go and I have a great story. There was a casino that opened up in Sullivan County a number of years ago, and what happened is they had to relax the rules in New York because they couldn't find anyone to work in the casino, because you couldn't work in the casino if you had a felony conviction. But like 40% of the county, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but had felony convictions for a drug, so you couldn't work in the actual casino floor, but you could work at the casino. That was the
compromise,
the compromise that was created. Okay, so that's our legal aspect as people start coming, but we do have some on Guthrie. I don't know if you want to do that now, because we're the friends of the network, like Ruiz. Ruiz reports. He's with Fox News. He's like with Bryant out there. You can trust almost everything he says. He's a really good guy. You should follow him at Mike Reports. He reported today 2 things, right? One is that with regard to the $1 million reward that Savannah Guthrie had put out this morning, and we're going to play that for you in a bit. The Guthries wanted to do it earlier, and the cop said, "No, Pima County, it would overwhelm.
We don't want tips and other things flying in.
Tips. So why should we have tips?" I posted today, if this happens, I told you, and I told my husband, I told everybody in the world, all right, day one, everything you own to a bounty. Forget the reward. I want a bounty to be brought back alive and on the head of the person who's kidnapping. $1 million. If you have to make it 2, you have to borrow money 2. If it's 5, it's going to do it. But you get that bounty out.
It's not dead or alive. It's alive. You want them alive.
I can't advocate for violence, but I certainly want me back alive. Let's put it that way. Okay.
So that's a condition. I got it. Okay, that's a condition of the bounty.
That's
okay, so
bounty, right?
You mentioned,
and then the second thing he reported was the DNA samples recovered from inside Nancy Guthrie's home came back to people that had reason to believe that they're there, according to his sources. And he has 2 of them, and one unknown sample yielded a partial profile that could not be checked against the FBI CODIS's database. Okay,
so it's slightly more than bupkis, but not surprising in terms of the people that they were able to rule out. They had a reason to be there at some point. We talked about it before.
Right.
Housekeepers,
right. They gave the DNA, right?
Whatever. Okay. So Savannah's latest message, which you referenced the reward that she's put in there. We thought we would play that. Oh, you need to remove your thing.
Oh, I am sorry.
That's all right.
There you go.
So there we go. We'll go ahead and play this, and I want you to listen carefully about the amount of the reward, okay? Because I think it bears a little scrutiny and discussion.
Hi there. I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then, of what she has been through. And I want to say that I am so sorry. 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 I am worrying about her and fearing for her and aching for her. And most of all, just missing her, just missing her. We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return. And we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. All of the information about this reward and the details is in the caption below. You can call the 1-800 tip line. You can be anonymous if you want. Someone out there knows something that can bring her home. Somebody knows. And we are begging you to please come forward now. We also know that we are not alone in our loss. We know there are millions of families that have suffered with this kind of uncertainty. And for that reason today, we also are donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for their work in helping families who are coping with loss and actively looking for those who are lost. We are hoping that the attention that has been given to our mom and our family will extend to all the families like ours who are in need and need prayers and need support. So please, if you hear this message, if you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and courageous and noble life that she has lived. Please be the light in the dark. Thank you.
All right, then. So, a couple of things. Obviously, painful to watch. I mean, you can just feel her pain and the family's pain. The reward, the $1 million, which is all anybody hears is $1 million. I heard up to $1 million, and I'm not sure what that means.
Right.
I'm not sure how that is calculated based on. I just don't know why they would put it in that phrase. It just. I don't know what.
Right.
I know.
I didn't go on and read the specifics. It says you can read the specifics at the FBI website, and I didn't read the specifics to see what that means. Does that mean possible related to the body? Does it mean related to the conviction? Does it increase if you get a conviction? I don't know. Has anyone in our chat actually read the terms of the reward? Because the up to $1 million and $1 million are two different things.
Yeah, and everything's been reported as just flat ass $1 million. I said, well, she said up to, and I just think it's important to clarify that. And that number, by the way, for those who haven't memorized it, is the 1-800 call FBI. So the other thing I thought was interesting was their decision to give $500,000 to the organization for missing and exploited children,
Right.
which tells me that they're not insensitive to what people have been saying, that, hey, my grandmother's been missing. Right? We're not getting, I don't blame them for getting the attention they do, because Savannah Guthrie is connected to the loss of her mother, Nancy Guthrie. But the fact is, there are lots of missing folks that are not getting the manpower, the money, the attention, the TV time that this case is. And I think they're sensitive enough to that, to the tune of, $500,000, to at least, tell people we get it. We aren't going to, it's not like they're going to say, please don't help find Nancy Guthrie. There are many other folks you can be working on. They're not going to do that. But by offering the money that they have, I think is a sign of their sensitivity and their understanding as to what's going on and why people might be a little upset.
Yeah, and I think I talked about it on the show earlier, but not in great lengths, that when I was a child, I had a missing cousin who was taken by a serial killer in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. She went to go get milk and never came home. Her body has never been found. And I was contacted by a number of people who were the victims of the serial killer in New Jersey. And maybe one day we'll do a whole show on that, because my view was the prosecutor at the time, when the victims contacted me, he wasn't so interested in doing some ground penetrating raid or on some kind of leads and all. But we'll talk about that, because yes, it's awful. And I remember in my family, my parents talking about it, and the whole idea of kids just walking to the, down to the local, would be 7-Eleven, to pick up a quart of milk to bring home for dinner. Is something that stayed with me. So when I hear about this, I feel so badly. And that's why I say, if you have the means, all right, and she had the means, I would be up to me. I'd be $1 million. And again, a bounty doesn't have to be violent, okay?
No,
Bounty means
you're turning somebody in.
Bring the person home alive who was taken, and bring the person home or to law enforcement who is the taker.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that number should move the needle, if anything is going to. It is kind of surprising, even with hundreds of thousands out there, that nobody has stepped forward, as far as we know, that nobody has provided any information, a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. And I can't remember who said it once, but, it's easy if one person's involved, it's easy to keep a secret. So maybe, in fact, it is only one person, but logic and law enforcement suggest no, because of just the logistics of handling a somewhat infirm 84-year-old woman, abducting her. It's hard for one person. So if it's more than one, it makes it more likely that those loose lips will sink ships. And somebody once said that it's easy to keep a secret amongst 3 people if 2 of them are dead. People just talk. And so I don't know what this means, the fact that nobody has reached out, as far as we know, to claim any of them.
Any of it. And Sheila Duffy says, what about the doorbell footage? And there's a suggestion that the doorbell footage was the same person on 2 different days too now. So this whole, they didn't deal with the crime scene. They didn't rope it off. They didn't take DNA on the first day. They didn't do grid searches. They didn't do anything that you would do with a normal crime scene. And they knew it was a crime scene, okay? They knew it was the crime scene.
Yeah, for about 45 minutes. Joy Schneyer says, perhaps the Guthrie family were listening to the advice of the PD.
They were. Right.
I'm sure they were. And I think she means in withholding the reward money. Right. I think that's what she means. And I think that was a mistake.
You were saying $15,000 or whatever. Why isn't the Guthrie? You remember we talked about it on the show, but you didn't want to say bad things because you knew they were working with law enforcement. It was wrong. Go hire. I mean, right now, as far as I'm concerned, you want to hire a mercenary. I mean, you want to hire a mercenary. These poor people listen to law enforcement, and it's all been absolutely wrong. The only thing that's been done right is the FBI going to get the Google Nest photographs. At least there's something to work with. And we thought they were withholding things. They're withholding things, but people may know something or know of somebody who is acting strangely or disappeared from the area or whatever. You don't give anybody more information, no one can do anything.
Yeah, no, I know. And there were so many things that seemed bungled from the very beginning, and we'll never know probably what impact that's had on the investigation. We just won't know. And I still am not convinced that the sheriff and the FBI are simpatico here, that they're working together. I feel like they're on parallel tracks.
Right.
We're not seeing a joint press conference. We're not seeing joint statements. It's just odd.
It's odd. Right.
Don't let your pride screw things up here. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so prayers continue. Hopefully this new reward will get somebody's attention and we'll have something more than non-news to report. It's unfortunate. That's kind of the way it's been for or day 24 now, something like that. Yeah, because it was on the 1st. It was on the 1st of February. So, okay. So, shall we jump into Richins?
Yeah, and the reason why I mentioned they didn't do anything at the crime scene because we were watching Richins today at 3:30 their time, 5:30 our time, getting ready for this show. They had taken the inside of the home and stitched it together. And one of the
I like that. I actually like it a lot.
There's many of them, right? There's many of them programs. The FBI used a different one in the Koberger case, but most people have never seen it. And if we could find that at that point, the show.
Oh, I can zoom around and find that. But yeah, on the stand right now, the one who has, at least I think she's on the stand. I haven't looked in a moment. Is Kelsey Gibson? She's the Gibson. She's the head CSI person there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was the one who did it. And it was
she did, yeah. So it was entered through her. So let's just take a dip into the live for a moment because we do have some other things we want to talk about relating to the case in general, and we'll do a little, as I call it, true crime roulette. Let me find. We'll see how live it is because they go. They're about 2 hours behind our East Coast time. So let me hit the live button here, and we'll see if maybe we'll get just the court. Seal of approval here.
You've got a box of items.
Hold on a sec. I'm jumping live. Okay. Come on. I'm trying to see what the audio is, but of course nobody's talking at the moment. So, how do you think Corey's holding up? How you holding up, Corey?
I don't know. I don't see her feet, so I can't tell you whether or not she's doing the polka under the table.
She seemed a little more stressed today to me. A little more. Just there seems to be some stress in her face, a tight jaw, something. Oh, that's why we're not hearing anything. Aside by. Okay.
I was watching the. I was out and then I was watching him in at the medical examiner testimony and the cross of the medical examiner. And boy, I know he made some points that were helpful to them. But I wanted to take over the cross. We're going to talk about it. I wanted to take over the cross. I'm having PTSD watching people cross-examine in high-profile.
That's because it's your thing. Check this out. Check this out. Michael pains me to say this, but the Utah judge voice might be as cool as yours.
Oh, wow! Look at that. He could be a voice actor.
He could. He could do it. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Yeah, he's got a very
great voice.
Deep voice.
Okay, let's listen.
Okay, can we hear this very well?
Exhibit 9-18, please. And 9-19.
She is the queen of the envelopes here, this girl. This woman.
Thank you for correcting yourself.
Yes. This chick.
Oh, Michael. That's what I have to put up with.
Okay. Let's start with 9-18. Do you recognize this item?
Yes.
What is it?
It's a photo it is a phone that was collected during a search warrant of Lauber's residence.
Is this the green iPhone?
What kind of phone is it? Just the model or the make of it?
It's a Samsung.
Okay.
No.
Is that
All right.
in the same or similar condition as when you booked it into evidence?
Yes.
And I'll treat this one the same as 9-6. And if you go ahead and show it to the jury. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't entered it yet. I'm sorry. If you could take exhibit 9-19, please.
All right. Do we want to watch this or we're going to back up and see the walk around?
Well, let's back up and see the walk around.
Okay.
This is the crime scene. She's doing things right. She has things in the bag. She has to. So the walk around is truly great.
This is, as somebody with a little bit of real estate experience, that's a new tool for showing homes now, especially during COVID. It happened.
the
but it's great technology.
And if they can do it for homes and real estate, why can't the sheriff of Pima County do it for Mrs. Guthrie's house? But I digress.
Yes.
Correct.
Let's see. I'm just zooming to the spot where there we go. Let's hear the setup for this.
Go ahead and play it, Scott. What items were being, specific items you were looking for this day? Excuse me.
Handwritten documents.
Did you locate any of those?
I assisted in photographing them.
Document?
Yeah.
Okay, you can pause it there. We see purple circle on the screen there. Was a document located from that location on that day?
Yes.
Take exhibit 9-17.
So I think it's just a super effective way to put the jury in the house,
Yes.
almost as if
And
they're
is
taking
that
part in the
again
search.
What is it?
Right. They
It's
they saw the bedroom earlier, I think.
Appears to be a timeline. It was located inside that the kitchen cabinet.
Okay, let me see. I'll see if I can find the bedroom because I think didn't the body was still in there, right?
Yes.
And I think it had a sheet over it, but
Well,
I don't know why it won't let me preview the actual shot, but
It should be at 3:23 their time. I don't know if that gives you any help.
yeah, unfortunately, not a lot of help.
Yeah.
Oh, this was interesting. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
All of a sudden,
is there a particular bottle within the
defense counsel wanted to see in the bottle. Okay.
And then judge said, "You want to see the pills?"
And then the counsel said, "Well, there are no pills in it." And the witness said, "Oh yeah, there are pills in there." And these were some of KOURI RICHINS' pills. These are not the pills that may or may not have been involved in the death of Eric Richin. So they went ahead and they she's ripping the label off of this thing, and parts of the label are coming off on the tape.
Scott,
And I'm just thinking,
1-20.
I'm not so sure that was the smartest thing to do.
Do you recognize this?
It's not there. It goes. Yes.
What is that?
It's a photo I took of what was located from that section of the linen closet.
That's a photo that you took?
Correct.
Fair and accurate representation of what you collected from there?
Yes.
Move to admit exhibit 1-20. No objection. We could publish, please.
20 is admitted.
Governor, can we look at the actual bottle that she took out of the bag since she's taken it out? Can we open it and look at it?
See, can we open that baby?
The bottle, look at the pills.
There's no pills, but I'm gonna open the bottle and see it.
There's pills in it.
Oh, okay. Can I have her just open it? I won't touch it, but let her.
Okay, so let's talk about that for just a second. Who cares? Why does she want to open this bottle?
I don't know, because it wasn't related to the pills that apparently the defense made a point on earlier that Mr. Richins had been prescribed pills that
He had Lyme disease pills. He had testosterone. I think he had actual
pills
liquid
take him.
testosterone.
Yeah, and pills that would take him to indicate that he was taking too much, maybe oxycodone, hydrocodone, that would reduce his dependence on those. He was given that prescription, and he had 90 pills, but 88 of them were left. So I understand seeing
Yes.
inside that bottle. That was a point. That was a really
Of
good
course,
point.
just the pill
defense.
count. The pill count. Yeah.
The pill count, right?
Okay, here's some more of the house. Let's see if I can find the bedroom. And I do have, there's some talk yesterday about the date on on the oxycodone.
Right.
And so I have that picture. It's hydrocodone, which is still, it's an opioid, but the name is slightly different. But there was a question about when it was expiring and when it was
Yeah, it's narcotics. It's not expired.
filled. When the prescription was filled. So I have that picture.
here we
We'll
go. Here's
pull
the
that up in
bedroom.
a second. That's not their bedroom, is it?
Yeah, that's the master bedroom.
Oh, it is. Okay, because I thought he was at the foot of it. When I saw him before at the foot of it, the bedding was off.
So
This is when she went back, I think, and to do
okay.
this whole tape.
your
Right?
magic pointer there, and on your screen, it should let you point out what item of significance was located in this room. You might have to aim it at Scott's computer. He's got the receiver.
That was working. It's a very small cursor.
The judge is running the computer stuff. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
It might not work. It's too far away.
It vibrated. I don't know if that helps.
Well, why don't we
Oh,
look
wait.
at, that's okay. We can talk about what we're looking at here without the clicker, even though I wanted to use it. That's okay.
See, they have the doggy
describe to
stairs.
the jury, what we see on the scan that was different from before.
There's a yellow dot that's kind of pointing towards the nightstand.
And what item was located there?
A green iPhone.
Okay. Now you've got a box of items beside you.
Yes.
If you could please grab item 9-5.
So
Exhibit
again, I want to go.
9-5.
I want to go back just a bit here.
While you're
We're
going
gonna
back, let me bring up a message by Madeira Beach caregiver. Hi, Madeira Beach. You and I've been communicating on our own email. Thank you for that donation, by the way. We're going to use it to go see Farwell, hopefully in a week or so. I don't see anything mentioned about the 1 million in the FBI link. Zilch. That will be extremely problematic for somebody trusting her offer argument. Well, the problem with these offers is you have to follow them exactly. And if you make one little misstep, like you called the wrong person, and you could result in turning the person in, but you don't get the offer. So a lot of people don't trust these offers, especially when all the terms of the FBI offer have to be mentioned. So you hit the nail on the head on that.
Yep, the conditions are sometimes make it sound like there's not a chance in hell. There has to be a conviction, etc. But I don't think the one being offered by the Guthries is that kind of strings attached. But
Yeah,
again,
it did. She does. She says you have to comply with the conditions of the FBI offer.
oh, but again, so why the up to $1 million? I just don't understand that.
So
I don't get it.
Madeira Beach, you have to go look at the offer and tell us what's the up to mean. I'm going to trust you. Or Amanda and little law girls in there, you two will let us know. So put it in the chat so everyone can say.
Yeah. And so this is from earlier in the day, but we're getting to the ME, and I know you want to talk about the ME. But before we do that, let me do this. Let me bring in that pill bottle that was the subject of some discussion yesterday. Hold on, let me find that for you. Stand by. We need a system where you can actually have two things like queued up at once.
Right.
It's a little clunky. You got to take this one down and put this one up. Okay. So let me zoom in on the bottle itself so we can see. This is the hydrocodone, which is again an opioid. Eric Richins is the patient. Down here it says drug expires 10/9/20. Okay. There was a lot of discussion about when it was prescribed, when it was going to expire, what the impact was. Obviously, this expired roughly, 2.5 years?
And it'll still be very effective if you took it because it's a narcotic. Okay. All right. I think that's to prevent people from becoming addicted and keeping them and selling them and then not worrying about the expiration.
Which I think is funny because are people really people don't throw pills out. And
right.
I can look in my drawer right now and I got stuff like when my knee was operated on 20 years ago, because I'm not really a druggie. So when I would get pain meds for those kinds of things, when my back was done 3+ years ago, I got those meds laying around somewhere. Someday they're going to come in handy. But
you have to bring back to the drugstore. You can't throw them in your water because they're testing all of our waters and finding out in New York City, I think was it cocaine or codeine or whatever. Our waters are filled with drugs. Okay. So Madeira Beach said, by the way, following up this literally
zero mentions.
That's the problem. Thanks, Madeira Beach.
Yes. Thank you very much for, we had to deputize you on that. We appreciate it. Anyway, so I don't know if it ever becomes an issue. I think the bigger issue you pointed out, which is only 2 of the pills were gone.
Well, that's on the medicines that take you off the hydrocodone on the oxycodones. He was given let's see, naloxone, not the one you get when you're, the cops come and they find you and as they did here.
Not the Norcan.
Yeah, not the Narcan. And because apparently he was, and this point was made with the medical examiner, he was given this pill. That's to take you down. That's to get you not reliable,
Wean you off
relying,
the stuff, yes.
wean you off the stuff. And he was given 90 pills of that, and yet there were 88 left. So the implication would be that he didn't do that. That that he was a drug. He died from oxycodone.
No,
or
and that's where the ME,
hydrocodone.
which we're going to get into, is so important here, and it's important for the defense and the prosecution. And I've got a few things to say. I got some things to say about your friend.
By the way, Maris at J17 says, I take her pills to Walgreens and put it in the disposal bin. That's what you're supposed to do. Of course,
I've never done that. So I'm bad. I'm a bad person. I've never done that. I mean, I guess nobody's ever gotten a hold of them, but they're in a drawer somewhere. Okay, let me see. I've got your friend, the doctor, queued up here. Let me bring her on.
The doctor. I mean,
Your colleague, the doctor,
who was retiring like 6 months later.
That's one of my points to be made here is, as I listen to her testimony, I'm thinking she was in a hurry to get the hell out of there. She had all the things she was wrapping up. She'd been doing this for 40 years. I think it was 40 years. And so she had stuff to do. I can't wrap up everything. So I'm not so sure she did the most thorough job you could possibly do on this case.
Okay. This is the, I can't see, is this the cross-examination or the prosecutor?
Thank you.
This is the direct, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the direct, you're right.
You want to see the cross?
Your full name.
Let's get her name.
For the record.
Pamela Sue Ulmer, Ulmer.
It's Pamela Sue.
Dr. Ulmer.
Are you employed?
No, I'm retired.
In 2022, were you employed?
Yes, I was a medical examiner at the Utah Office of the Medical Examiner.
There's a term forensic pathologist. Is that what the capacity you were serving in?
That's correct.
What is a forensic pathologist?
I can answer that.
So
Yeah, I think we may know that. So I'm gonna move ahead.
I think everyone in our chat knows that,
I
right?
think you're right. Let's see if I can get to, because I think it's always more interesting, what comes with cross-examination? The truth. There was some interesting feedback on counsel, Mr. Ramos. People were definitely reacting to how he cross-examined a witness yesterday, and then they took a break here. And then
He seemed to have toned it down, because yesterday he was walking across like an actor with the one hand and
it was
the other hand.
was very
and the other hand.
theatrical.
You have to, I mean, no one could be a better you than you, but sometimes you shouldn't be you.
It was very theatrical, and some people weren't happy with it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see where we are in her cross here. This was after a break.
Yes, it's none detected for ethanol, acetone, isopropanol, or methanol.
Okay, so no alcohol.
Is there something important about vitreous versus blood with regard?
This is still the cross, I think.
That you're aware of?
Well, it's multiple things, actually. For one thing, it's kind of a sequestered area. You don't have direct blood flow to that area, so things just kind of pass through the membranes as opposed to having direct blood flow. And so it's kind of protected and it's delayed. And so like if you're comparing like a blood alcohol to the vitreous alcohol, the blood alcohol will be different than the vitreous alcohol depending on whether the alcohol is going up or going down in the intoxication time frame.
I see.
And then also because it's protected, you're less likely to have bacterial contamination of the vitreous fluid because some bacteria produce alcohols during decomposition. So
here's where this is going. He had there was an issue of an alcohol read in the stomach that really wasn't alcohol, and you can't differentiate between the ethyl alcohol that you're drinking. You're drinking your margarita versus you're decomposing and you're producing alcohol. That's why, like for instance, in plane crashes when they find a pilot's body up in the mountains 2 months later and they test it and it looks like that. There's alcohol in the tissues. It's not because it's from decomposition. So that's where this whole thing is. And
that's very interesting. Very interesting that's the case. And anytime they talk about a vitreous sample, I always get a little queasy because they take it out of the eyeball, and that's
Mm.
I don't know. It's
with a needle, I believe.
yeah, they just suck some out of there. But you know, I don't want anybody sucking stuff out of my eyeball. Okay, so let's see if I do believe that was still the direct. Let's see here.
Is that prescribed?
That was prescribed July 3rd of 2019.
Remember, he died in 2022.
Correct.
Okay, then the next one is hydrocodone.
It was prescribed June 29th of 2016 by Dr. Charles Lind.
And hydrocodone, do you know what that is? Or
It's a pain medication. It's another opiate pain medication.
then we've got disulfiram.
Disulfiram was prescribed December 9th of 2019 by Dr. Andrew Peterson.
And does it have multiple uses?
It does. As a prescribed drug, it's commonly used for alcohol prevention. So another common name for it is antabuse. And then as an off-label use, it's used for chronic symptoms of Lyme disease.
I found that very interesting too.
Which he had. He had
Yes,
Lyme
which he
disease.
has. But what a negative that is. That's the kind of med, though, that makes you ill if you drink alcohol, right? Isn't that
Right.
how
As a matter of fact, you know this case that it became popular in. What case am I talking about? I am
Oh my
going to
gosh.
leave. Just come on, everybody.
It's a case. It's a what?
Princess. I'm going to
Princess.
say the first word begins with princess.
Princess
Her name begins.
Diana.
Yes, her driver was on that, right?
Yeah, but he was
Supposedly.
pounded drunk.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's
So it
the
wasn't
whole point.
working.
So it wasn't working. Had to be
Oh.
in the system and a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, it's supposed to make you ill so you don't drink alcohol.
Right.
But interesting that it has some sort of benefit in the treatment of Lyme symptoms. That's very interesting.
And naltrexone.
Naltrexone was prescribed August 24th of 2020 by Dr. Hunderman. Again, it's also used for helping to prevent people from drinking. And then it's also used for opiate reduction. So
And
Opiate
does it have
abuse.
an off-label use?
it's also used for chronic symptoms or complications from Lyme disease.
To me, that is so confusing that, you know, it looks at on one beat like, oh, this guy was trying to wean himself from alcohol and drugs, opiates, and yet, oh, by the way, it also helps with Lyme disease, which it's undisputed that he had.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what to do with that.
I don't know, but the defense wants to do with that he's
Well, of course.
considering that he's a drug abuser. You know, he's a drug abuser, and therefore he overdosed on the fentanyl. So that's where, you know, where, you know, she's kind of like her testimony is kind of, you know, it's kind of even keel, right?
6'7",
It
is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, 6'7", kind of 6'7", yeah.
Okay.
In case you don't know, everybody, 6'7" is the new slang for like, yeah.
Prescribed in when?
2020. It's August 24th of 2020.
And how many were prescribed according to the label?
90 pills were prescribed. There were still 88 pills that were remaining.
And that doesn't necessarily mean he was a drug addict and he didn't take these pills, but that's what the defense is going to say. You know, we've all had prescriptions. You take 1 pill or 2 pill, and boy, damn, are you sick and it doesn't agree with you. And you're just like, why did my doctor make me just spend $150 on this shit? You know?
Does it spoil, like food spoils and becomes more toxic or not?
Not that I'm aware of. Generally, what happens is that these medications tend to get less useful. They get weaker, if anything, but pretty much for a lot of them, they're stable for a really long time.
So that's, you know, most people, you know, ask that question. So what if it's expired? Big deal. And maybe it's less potent, maybe.
Asked to have NMS lab examine the gastric contents.
By the way, NMS is the best lab in the
No,
country. It's the
I'm
lab
just-
I use. It's the lab my husband uses. I use it for defense cases. They can do, see, they have testing equipment that no one else does. As a matter of fact, many police departments are under contract with them. The FBI will use them in certain cases.
Where is
They can
that?
test- It's in Pennsylvania
Okay.
because they can test for things that other labs cannot test for. Okay. They just have such a protocol. They're just simply the best. I had them testify in the Spector's case. Alan Jackson cross-examined the witness from them, and then ended up hiring him. So one of the best toxicologist witness he'd ever seen on the stand. So
Yeah, sometimes the best experts you find are those you've cross-examined in other
right,
cases.
it's true, absolutely true.
Yes.
All right, Tubi. Is that Tubi weighing in there?
Yes, that's to be weighing in there. Yeah, of course.
Alcoholic
I'll get complaints again.
decomposition,
Yeah, quit
No.
shocking the dog or whatever somebody said.
Somebody thought I was shocking my dog. I'm not shocking my dog.
did you
If I was shocking my dog, he wouldn't be
There was a
barking.
presumptive positive for acetaminophen. There was a presumptive positive for caffeine. Quetiapine,
I'd definitely be,
which is an
antipsychotic.
antipsychotic
I'd be
medication,
presumptive.
was
Ooh.
present at 16,000 nanograms.
For
per
macchiato or whatever those things are you
I'd be
drink.
presumptive.
The ethanol level was confirmed
I'm surprised. This guy was 39.
again.
Young.
Fentanyl was present at 20,000 nanograms per mil.
There we go.
And then norfentanyl was present at 52 nanograms per
Breakdown
mil.
product.
And acetylfentanyl was present at 29 nanograms per mil.
Yeah, so it's been in the system and started breaking down. Yeah.
medical exam.
And this, if nothing else, I want everybody to make note of the pronunciation of the drug. It's not fentanyl. It's not fentanyl. It's fentanyl. And she says it so many times that it's now driven in my brain.
Do those numbers mean something in particular to you?
They mean call the toxicologist.
Okay.
Basically, as a medical examiner, I can say that we know that he reportedly had a drink at bedtime, so that might explain that presence of ethanol, or it could be decomposition, either one.
It's the Moscow Mule, allegedly.
That was the
We
cock and bull.
know that he was not reported to be taking any medication. So then I have no explanation for the quetiapine or the norfentanyl or fentanyl or the acetylfentanyl.
But I don't think you take fentanyl generally as a medication unless you're a cancer patient. And
Or sleep aid. But
fentanyl?
yeah, it's dangerous. It's
Yeah,
dangerous to be just
no
taking it.
doctor up here is going to be prescribing fentanyl as a sleep aid.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Oh my
you
gosh.
know.
I'm allergic to fentanyl. Cock and bull. That was the bottle that Cameron Larson, CSI Junior, found in the trash.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before, but apparently it's a unique. It's ginger beer. Anyway.
Okay. So anyhow, that led. Can we stop it for a second? Because I think what's important is going to be the cross, because the cross is going to surround this, and that what this is this is a blown up portion of page 2 of the death certificate. The death certificate said that he died from, and you can see that initially it was pending drug intoxication, fentanyl. It later became, from not pending to final, that drug intoxication, fentanyl, and then the death certificate was amended though on that. That's the cause of death. The manner of death was it went from pending to not determined as to the manner of death. And those manner of deaths we know
Only
are
5.
homicide, suicide. Go ahead, finish me.
Natural, accidental, undetermined.
There you go. And so it was changed from pending, which was not until undetermined, because she couldn't determine how, whether he took the fentanyl. I mean, this is the whole case himself, or whether he was given it. Right.
And that's, everybody can argue however they want to argue that. And so now, how did you take my video off and put your thing up there? How did that happen?
I don't know. I just put this up there and it went up there. I guess.
Okay, well, now you got to take it off.
Now I'm
so I
going to
can
take the. I'm going to remove it because usually we can't do
Yeah.
that.
I know. I don't know. Magic.
Oh, now
Well, there
this
he
is
is.
there he is, Mr. Ramos, right?
Is the man of the hour. Let's listen in.
He's the defense attorney, cross-examined here.
I would say possibly. If it's from bacterial decomposition, then it doesn't tell us much.
Okay. And did you do any I don't know, additional tests or studies to try to determine that in this case?
No.
Was that asked of you?
No.
Okay. At any point, was it asked to determine whether or not the fentanyl was taken along with alcohol?
These are questions that I would not be able to answer because I don't think that they are answerable.
This is where I started to wonder, just how checked out she was about this case and others she was trying to wrap up before she retired.
Well, what's interesting here is she relied basically on the findings. I mean, I don't think the cause of death, I think, is going to be really hard to say it was gummies with alcohol or hydrocodone, because there's no hydrocodone, there's no codone, there's no opiates in the system, right? So you have maybe some alcohol that could be from decomposition, or it could be from the drink that he reportedly took, according to KOURI, RICHINS, the defendant. All right. But the manner of death, there's this big dispute going on in the country right now, basically brought it out by the Innocence Project, Barry Scheck, who says that medical examiners should not go beyond the science. They should base their findings on what the science, not what they shouldn't meet with the cops. They shouldn't look at the cops' file. They shouldn't talk to the cops. What does the science tell? If the science it doesn't determine a manner of death, that's where it should stop. And I think that's kind of like where she left it. She didn't do. She had calls. She had some calls. She had some meetings, but she'll do what you said. She says, "I was retiring. I was just finishing up. I didn't have really time to do this."
It's hard to tell whether, as a matter of practice, she doesn't do that, or as a matter of I'm retiring that she doesn't do that. I don't know. Right. We know that Dr. Michael Baden has a different take on that.
Right.
He likes to know what the hell's going on.
Right. And he says he can agree with it or disagree with it. And in his professional judgment, he will use it or not use it, depending on whether it agrees with the autopsy findings. Yeah. All right. But it's important to know if somebody is found dead outside their balcony, if it's a question of homicide or suicide, and you have 7 witnesses that said, the cops have interviewed that said he was pushed by, the bad guy, versus not pushed. So it may be important to know that when you make your findings.
It might be. And in the Karen Reed case, we know that that was a clown show in terms of any communication between anybody. Oh, Domino's checked in. Domino, you good?
Hey, Domino. Okay. He must have heard Tubi barking.
Yes. Anyway, let's go back to more of the good doctor. Uh-oh, what was that? I think Mr. Ramos is toned down today.
Let's go to the, was it 122, the calls, the messages, Katie? Can you just show that to just the witness, Judge? And page 2, please. Do you recall that?
Not specifically, but I mean, it's a typical note that we would get.
And this is one that was addressed to you?
Correct.
At the very bottom, there's a signature. Is that yours?
Yes. It says the call was returned on March 17th of 2022.
Perfect. Could we go to the case notes, Katie, for that same?
That would have been 2 weeks after the death.
Remember, she supposedly intended to poison him on Valentine's Day, and then it didn't work. Supposedly, the argument now that was food poisoning, but then the state is saying that she went back to the person she bought the drugs from and says,
"I wanted something stronger."
Wanted something stronger, and then 2 weeks later, he dies in his sleep. And when the EMS and everyone finds him, he is cold, which we haven't. She didn't even address. They didn't even address that in this case.
No, the first responders did, but the ME didn't get into that. The first responders talked all about it and all about their process they used to try and bring him back. But you could tell that they knew there wasn't it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, but that's kind of important to take the body temperature, take the room temperature.
Mhm.
How cold is he? Is he 78 degrees or is he 92 degrees?
Mhm.
You know,
Because there's
1
the
degree
time
an
of
hour,
death
2 degree an hour.
is who
Right.
knows.
Right.
You know, all they know for sure is she called at 3-ish and said, you know, she found him cold, and you know, then the recovery attempts began. But who knows? He could have been dead for 3 hours at that point. Who knows? And so there is no time of death, which again helps the defense.
Is that for the March 17th that you returned that call?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on the case, is it called the case log, case notes? What would that?
Same thing.
Same thing. Is that
She has 2
automated?
pair of reading glasses.
Is it automated?
In terms of the, let me be more specific. Is
No, I have to type it in.
But in terms of the time and date,
No,
it's not automated.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't know for a fact.
Okay.
Could we just do a? Yeah.
All right. So this is, let me just stop this for a second.
I'm just moving forward.
Because-
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because this is exact KC1125. How long does it take to be called? So this is the issue, because the EMS and all made it very clear in the testimony here that he was cold. We don't know how cold he is. Was there any rigor mortis setting? And I don't think I heard that question being asked.
Nope.
And because they didn't take didn't appear to take body temperatures or room temperatures or anything, I don't know. You can answer that question. But if he was like stiff and cold, that means he could have been dead for a long time. Not just, you know, I wake up in the middle of the night and I make the phone call. Where the defense says that's the voice of a widow. Well, it sure is, but the question is, when was she widowed?
Yeah, and so how long does it take for rigor mortis to set in, and then it goes away after a certain period of time?
Right.
But I didn't hear any of that discussion. So
But they did
of
take the
death
room
is-
temperature. Yeah,
is
law
out
goes-
there.
They took the room temperature was 71, at least
Yeah,
at the
you
time
know.
they got there.
Yeah, that doesn't help a whole heck of a lot.
A lot, right?
Remember everything, and you're not recording the phone call, so.
Correct. So when you get to the point where you are inputting it, correct me if I'm wrong, the purpose of inputting that information is that whoever's working on that case can have the information that you have.
As far as investigators and stuff,
Sure.
sure, but mostly it's just a documentation of what happened.
That day.
Yeah.
Okay. And it seems like whenever calls were made to you, you did a pretty good job of summarizing what was discussed.
Yes, it was more for my recollection maybe than anybody else's.
Correct. And with that, kind of like you said, you were trying, or you indicated we, I imagine your team, correct?
Yes,
Does that include anybody outside of the Office of Medical Examiner?
no,
Okay. So people at the Office of Medical Examiner working on this case, notes for you to try to determine what the manner or cause of death is going to be in this case. Fair?
correct.
And as people are calling you to get information, you're uploading all the contents of those calls, correct?
Yes.
And you do that with every call?
You try to do it, but sometimes you might be someplace, you might be in a situation where you can't, like if, for example, when I was in the process of retiring, I might not be working from the office. I might be working from someplace else, and it just may not be feasible to do it because I might be making phone calls on my personal phone, for example.
Sure.
So,
And so in this case, you did get a note that Ms. Richins called on March 17th, and then you did speak with her that day, correct?
yes,
And then you put that information in there.
yes,
And in that discussion, you talked about the lungs and how Eric's mother had died previously, correct?
yes.
And I want to get the timing right. Mr. Burmester asked you about the fungal testing that you had done. Was that before or after this call?
I'm sure it was before because since I already knew they were granulomatous lungs, I wanted to look at what might be causing that problem.
Okay.
Now, we'll remember that her, whose mom was it that died from that?
It was
fungal issues?
It was Keith's mom. It was the wife, Linda. It was the dad's wife, Linda. I can remember this
Oh, that's
because
right.
the name
There you go.
really
'Cause
has
Linda.
put me like, yes, so fast.
Yeah, so she had a fungal infection led to death, so they wanted to rule that out. But they found, and I thought this was interesting, these little granulomas on all over his lungs, these little teeny dots, which were a function of his being a stone cutter
Right.
for who knows
Very
how long,
dangerous. Right.
because he's inhaling all that dust and stuff. Even with a respirator, you're going to get some. So a life of that wasn't a problem at this point, but he was 39. But I guarantee you, a couple more decades of that, who knows?
Yeah. People are asking if we can boost the volume of.
I know, and I wish I could.
Wish we could.
We on a live feed, I can't.
Yeah.
And I'm still technically I'm in a live feed right now.
Yeah.
I'm just not live.
Yeah. So we can't. But why don't we sum up what he tried to do here, okay? And then
Go
put it
ahead.
to the prosecutor. What he tried to do is show that KOURI had called and talked with her, and this goes back to the sister being on the stand the first time, who said that KOURI had told the family that he had died. She talked to the medical examiner, and he had died of COVID and a fungal infection. And then they called the medical examiner and said, no, we don't even have our findings done yet. So what they're trying to do here is he's trying to show that indeed KOURI Richins did call the medical examiner. They did have discussions about a fungal infection and their granulomas and the Lyme disease and COVID. So they had those discussions, okay? We'll talk about I have to, by the way, before we end the show, Michael, talk about makeup and stuff because we're getting a lot of questions on that because TV is a visual medium. But this is what he was trying to do. I think he did a pretty solid job about that. The problem is he's left with this, okay? And I think I can add this above you and take it off. He's left with this, that it's a fentanyl intoxication, okay? And there's no indication. I'm going to now remove it. I removed it, and now your video is off.
Yeah, it's off.
But that's okay. And then the prosecutor. Let's talk about what the prosecutor did. The prosecutor got back up to your point and said you didn't review any of the texts that KOURI Richins did, right? Including the one. Do you have the one from last night? The picture.
You mean from the opening statement?
Yeah, from the opening statement.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull that up here.
Fine. And while you're doing that. It didn't review any of the phone texts. It didn't review the phone, KOURI Richins' phone. That he didn't have access to not consider any motive. Now we know that you don't have to prove motive, and this is what the prosecutor had ended with yesterday. And you and I had actually look up the first one. That is.
Oh, I was guessing. Is that Gene Wilder? Is that I couldn't tell who that was? Let's see if I can help everybody by pushing it a little closer.
Okay.
I can see now that it's Jeff Daniels. I can see that now.
And he's talking about it's Dumb and Dumber and all. It's apparently a classic scene. And the next one is Idiots Everywhere. That's Kevin Spacey. And this was put on her phone on right after the EMS and the cops left her house with the body of her husband. Okay, and that's what they found. And then the last one is I'm Really Rich. All right. And that I'm really rich means, I've done, she's trying to say I've done it, right? You're all very stupid. You're all dumb and dumber and you're idiots and all. And I'm now really rich. And
this was the prosecution's final statement in opening to the jury. This was found on her phone, these three pictures, and then he basically sat down without another word.
No need to have another word. So you didn't consider motive, and there was you didn't really go through. You didn't sit with the cops and go through all the other evidence. And basically, she said, "No, I was retiring." And we all know that that while the prosecution doesn't need to prove motive, and while maybe the science just says he died of fentanyl poisoning, it's up to the jury to decide whether or not this was a murder or not. She couldn't say that there was a homicide. She didn't come to that conclusion. She came to no conclusion. She just said undetermined. So I think that the prosecutor did a very good job in redirect and saying, hey, look, you have to put the fact that this is fentanyl poison with everything else you have. And the other thing else you have is she's buying fentanyl and wants something stronger after Valentine's Day. So this is where it went. I think he did a very good job as a defense attorney raising those issues. Much better cross-examination than yesterday, although I was dying. Just tell her what you want. Don't ask her these open-ended questions. Just tell her. Not on cross.
Before we get on to your makeup thing, I just realized, oops, wait a second. There you go. Whoops. There we go. I was looking. We were talking about KOURI RICHINS, what she was wearing yesterday. So this is sort of a fashion statement.
Right.
And she's basically wearing the same thing today. But I couldn't help but notice at one point when I looked up and I'm watching, I said, why does she have like that? She has a bow in her hair. Why does she have this bow? And can you see it now? Can you see the bow in her hair?
No, I don't see the bow.
Look at it's right up to the top. See that bow?
Actually, I don't see the bow. Let me see if I
bow?
can enlarge this a little bit
Once
more.
you see it, you can't unsee it. That's this bow in her hair, this white, looks like almost like cat ears. That's the guy behind her shirt collar.
I don't see the bow. See, that's what I see as a shirt collar. You're trying to fool me. You see?
I went, why is she wearing that? And then, of course, obviously, I realized it's the guy's shirt collar. But now I can't unsee it. Now all I see are these little cat ears, bow tie thing on her head.
That's why eyewitness testimony is pretty bad, because you're seeing a bow. It's like when the opening with the defense attorney, they put the picture of the witch on one side and the grieving widow.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's a witch or it's a woman. Yeah.
So you're seeing a bow. I didn't see anything but the white shirt collar framing her face. Okay, all right.
Going by and I went, whoa, what was that? And then I saw that.
And so since we're on fashion, I have to tell you that I did read something on Instagram that said that the wolf cut, which is what I apparently have, I didn't even know
that's
I had
a wolf cut.
This is called the wolf cut. It's the big thing when you have the shaggy bangs over your eyes and the shaggy hair is now coming in. So okay, so I didn't even know that. Wolf cut. Anyhow, but you know, our people watch us, and we've been on the air for a while now, and I have to say this is a great comment, Rachel. We're 9397. I don't know if Michael will take it. Thank you for going over this trial with us. You two are great, especially Linda. Oh, thank you so much.
Well,
no offense to Michael, but after Linda did her makeup with Jimmy, I feel like I know her. LOL, like friends. Haha. Yeah, because you all saw me without makeup. I mean, I don't let many people see me without makeup except you guys for the show, and that was a great show. And I think it's you know, we talked a lot of cases and a lot of law, and it's important. Michael and I do a lot of personal stuff because we want to let you know where we're coming from, and you know who we are, and that tells you where we're coming from. And then we get to this. Linda, your makeup is on point tonight. Beautiful. What are you wearing? I need a makeup tutorial.
Who are you wearing?
Okay. Well, actually, I'm wearing a very I'm wearing Chanel lipsticks mixed as Chanel blushes, and I'm wearing 3 different type of lipsticks on the top of using a high gloss, shall we say, powder over the final 3 lipsticks. So I mean, you know, I can put them in the chat later on, and then just some powder to put it by the side, and some blue under eye eyeliner. I don't wear any eye makeup on top, so that's where we are.
Okay,
so that helps you, objection, Your Honor.
I had to look up the wolf cut.
There you are. There you are.
There's another version of it. There's another. Here's one you will not be seeing anytime soon. Oh, it disappeared.
Michael, it disappeared. You're not getting a wolf cut? Okay.
Yeah, I will not be getting the wolf cut. No, I will not be. So
I thought we'd end with you know, everything we do is so traumatic and can give us all PTSD, and sometimes you have to release that. And since our viewers are very into, normally we do Fashion Friday, but since we talked about the fashion with KOURI RICHINS, not because she's female, but because you know, she has such a different look. She has such a stern look. In the
she definitely looks a little more stressed out to me, and I mean that hair smashed to her head like that.
Yeah, she looks
it's
a little
very harsh,
more,
very hard look.
It is stressed out, and you know, dressing your client for court is a very difficult thing.
Especially if you just walked in, you might think she's you know, on the legal team. I mean, you know, that's not by accident that she looks very professional, but there is stress on that face. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, there should be. I know, you know, I'm a defense attorney, so she's presumed innocent.
Look at that. I mean,
but I think the motive, and I think the motive is pretty bad. I think that what the prosecutor ended with is pretty bad. And you know, we don't care if she had a lover or a boyfriend, although she did ask him to marry her sometime soon, right after the husband died. I guess you know. So soon, you know. Very soon. So, you know, I think it's a difficult case for the defense, but remember, you only need one juror. You only need one. So,
yep. And they may just be a hard ass. It's like they don't know what caused the death. They don't. I mean, they know the drug did, but they don't know the manner. They don't know.
Yeah.
And that's doubt to me.
Well, except that the doubt can be filled by that's non-scientific.
Of
You don't need the
course.
medical examiner to, how many cases have we had with the
But
medical
you could have
examiner
somebody on
canceling?
that jury that's like, that's not good enough for me. It's just not good enough. I can't get there.
So we'll
knows?
see. We got a
Hey,
long way to go.
yes, we do. This is supposed to be 4 to 5 weeks, I think was the initial estimate. Who knows? It
Yeah.
seems to be pretty efficiently moving along. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
so before we
The
leave,
judge is very good on his breaks,
yes,
10 minutes.
for
I
sure.
love the judge. I love Judge
Yes.
Razik. I love him.
Yeah, he's a first name guy. So I'm just going to call him Judge Richard because he
Okay.
calls everybody with the first name. But Mrzik is I think how you pronounce it. Mrzik.
Yeah.
Before we go and before we forget, tomorrow at 2, we're not going to have the Justice Reef TV book club because I haven't gotten around to getting another book or author.
My husband's waiting for you. Okay.
He's waiting for the call. He's waiting.
Waiting for the call.
He's waiting for the call. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a members only at 2:00. We're going to go over the Matthew Farwell motion to dismiss, which is going to be heard maybe a week from tomorrow in federal court in Boston.
And by the way, this is a good reason to be a member because we're going to go over this, and there's some interesting things, and the
it's
government
not a bad motion.
The government may have some problems with this motion. I know it's not what we want to hear dealing with the Sandra Birchmore murder, but the government's got some issues, and they haven't filed an answer yet.
That I found very interesting, which leads me to believe maybe there's something going on in the background that they're going to push the actual hearing date. That there's some sort of because for them the government just to blow off a deadline. What are they, Norfolk County? I mean, are they just going to? Well, they're not. They are, but they aren't. And the fact is, this federal case really evolved because the state did nothing, and the state's ME is saying, well, "What do you mean it's a suicide?" If the state had done the right thing, the feds probably never would have gotten involved. So now we'll see if they, obviously, even if a motion to dismiss is granted, it's going to be with some sort of leave to amend. The question is, can they fix it? Yeah. So we're going to get into that tomorrow at 2:00. It'll be live, members only, and then we'll splash that out there over the weekend.
$2.99 a month, best deal you're going to find. And you subscribe for free. So it asks you to do that. We're like 4 away from I think 34,500, which for a show that's only a little over a year and a half old, we're told is really, really good.
I have no idea.
But we have no idea. So please hit that subscribe button right now. Subscribe, notify, like, share, and hype. That's our new thing. You get to hype us, and that gets us points in some way and pushes us out.
Yes, I know what that is.
And we had an hour and a half show last night. Much look at it. Mark Epstein was on. We did the Epstein case. Lisa Michael was spouse this night. And we're going to be having a lot of clips generating from that. But look at the whole show. And then the clips are going to be coming. Then you can show certain parts to your family. And then, maybe look at the whole episode again. A lot of episodes on that. So.
Yep. All right, then. Thanks for joining, everybody. We appreciate it. And in honor of the Guthrie saga, as Savannah would say, please, it's never too late to do the right thing.
Ashes on the sky.